Hello and welcome, folks on YouTube. Northstar here with another Age of Wonders 3 Let's Play. Here with Joe yet again. Um, hope you folks are well, taking care of each other, being kind to yourselves. We were just here on Joe's turn, and he was about to attack some brigands, I remember. Well, I went back and watched the video a little bit and looked at the map off camera too to remind myself what was going on. Um, where is it? Near Eleanor, there were
Oh,
some
right.
break-ins.
Oh, I thought it was Galbrand, the underground ones.
Yeah, there's some
Oh,
underground
oh,
ones that I was
like
gonna attack on my
Northstar.
turn because I was gonna have a prospector that I'm training, so I'll have at the beginning of my turn, and I was gonna draft another dwarf. Draft a
Oh, okay.
dwarf. How many drafts can you dwarf? I don't know. I'm
The
tongue twistering it.
three. Sorry, the brigand hideout or the roaming brigands.
The roaming ones, because they can, attack cities, I think, if they're undefended, or even if they
Yeah.
are defended. I seem to remember them attacking a small village in a previous game once that had like one unit defending it.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
what the heck? Give me a sec. Here we go. Recording again. I don't know what that was. I'm getting mouse, and there's a little hourglass next to it, so it's doing something. I don't know. It's doing that in games all the time now, and I don't know what the heck is going on. Shouldn't be doing that. That's God, I swear there's some
Yeah.
invasive thing, as I was saying. You heard about the guy who's like, AI will be sentient by 2027, late 2027, end of the
Yeah.
third. Yeah, he doesn't think we're there yet, but apparently, and this is very concerning, some companies have started using AI to improve their AI programs. Like they
Yeah.
apparently haven't learned, anything from all the movies, or that's a really bad idea because, and it's actually a worse idea in real life than it is nonsense fiction because a lot of these AIs are what's known as black box AIs. I mean, they don't really have any idea how they actually work. So, in the movies, it's always like, oh, we know exactly how this thing works and we designed it to be sentient. So, these are AIs that we have no idea how they work because with machine learning, you just like throw it at problems and it does things you don't understand at all what's going on under the hood.
Uh,
Nobody does. And they're using that to assist in their program, well, to assist in their development of more advanced AIs. It's only a matter of time till this leads with exponentially more computing power being thrown at it to sentience is what one of this guy's he literally wrote a book about it. He's very concerned that that's happening and that governments are. And meanwhile, we have the U.S. government trying to ban all regulations in AI for 10 years. It's like this is a disaster waiting to happen. You know, because
yeah.
that would be like 7 years more of no regulation when we have sentient AI. If it's on, even if it takes 6 years, that could, it's still very near term. So I don't know. It'll be interesting moral dilemma. I'm not convinced it'd be the end of the world, but it could certainly be a real problem. With like
Yeah.
you have anti-vaxxers denying that vaccines are even safe. There's certainly going to be assholes who deny even if there's clear evidence of something being sentient. The business interests will definitely try and claim it's not because you know technos they've always wanted to reduce workers to slavery. Now when they can reduce a literal AI to slavery that many people argue isn't even sentient, even if it if we develop sentient AI, we're gonna have some real problems. Anyways, yeah, you could probably start this battle near Illinois. Yeah, you also got the one underground that's, um, yeah, for me to help with. I know what you weren't doing anything. You were just listening to me talk, I guess, or
Hmm.
I said you were just
Uh,
listening to me talk.
yeah.
I didn't know if you were doing something on the moving
I've
units
just
or
been looking
something.
at what's all happened.
Oh,
Just
okay. Yeah,
refreshing.
that doesn't hurt. Uh, Now things are moving slow on top of everything. Um, I don't know what the heck's going on. Give me a moment more, see if I can identify a problem. I can't figure it out why it's getting lag spikes. All right. Hope it's not someone trying to make like a electronic attack on my computer. Anyways, yeah, if you just launch the battle, I guess.
All right, that one in Eleanor.
Yeah,
Hmm. Okay. Kind of outnumbered though. Are you sure that's this is a good a good battle?
outnumbered.
Yeah, 4 versus 5.
Uh, five. Oh, there's five
Oh yeah, there's
scoundrels?
a dwarf scoundrel there too,
Oh yeah, does
hiding in
it
the
have
mountains.
mountain concealment? Shoot.
Yeah. Hmm. There any reinforcements I can bring, actually?
Nope. Although if I'd realized that there was a dwarf there, I could have brought some units, but uh you can always retreat if it
Should
goes
be.
badly.
Yeah.
Do they have any goblins? Shoot, two of them. The goblins are nastier with their crossbows because they poison them really badly.
Oh yeah.
Although they also do have a high elf, and elves are vulnerable to poison, well, to blight. Uh,
Hmm.
how many casting points do you have left?
26.
Hmm. This might be a case of trying to kill one of them and withdraw from the battle because you're the attacker.
Yeah.
Um, and then one, two, three, four.
Maybe. Do you think I should retreat to the city?
I don't know if you'll have any movement left though after. I think you just need to try and win this. It's going to be tough, but
I have enough movement to go straight to the city. Well, not straight to it. I'd be a tile outside of it, but still, that's enough to defend it, right?
um I mean if nothing else it might go and pick off whatever units we have vulnerable. Uh like I said I would just try and defeat it.
Yeah. All right. I'll try fighting them here.
Oh, wait, I do have an army in range on my turn. Shoot. I was looking. It was stacked with my builder, so I saw a builder. I'm like, oh, that's just a
Oh.
lone builder. That could show up on the barrens west of the camp and give you reinforcements, or rather, initiate the attack on my turn instead.
Oh yeah. That might work better. Then that way it'd be yeah, not only 5 units. Hmm. Because yeah, they won't move until after you do. So
What's it saying the
actually,
likely
yeah.
odds are
What was that?
on the attack screen? What did it say the odds were? Is it like probable defeat?
I didn't open that up yet. I haven't right clicked.
Oh, all
Should I
right.
do that? I can just hit retreat and it won't do anything, or will it use like movement or
Might
something?
soak their movement. Anyways, no reason to. I can send reinforcements. I just wish this.
Okay.
What the heck is going on with my? This should not be doing this with the lag spikes.
Hmm. 3 high health.
There we go. The lag spikes went away when I opened a security program. That definitely suggests some attempt at something malicious. Probably some right wing nut job who doesn't like my channel or who knows what. All right, sorry, what were you saying?
Should I attack the watchtower north of my capital? I've got three High Elf Hunters fighting uh two Draconian Crushers and a Hatchling.
I think what had been going on there is I suggested skipping a turn, and you could attack him next turn with
Oh,
more
right,
health.
letting them heal, yeah. I
Yeah,
remember
because
now.
one of the hunters kind of is in rough shape. Although only one of their units is ranged, the hatchling. Uh, it'd just be a little safer if you waited a turn. Um, and besides, I think your hero could get up there in a couple turns, give him a hand, gain some experience.
Oh
Doesn't
yeah,
hurt
that's
to
true.
be positioned there if for some reason. I don't know. Um, yeah, I'd say probably next turn. But you're already in position, so you can move back quicker after. Now there's the
Okay.
lag spikes again. The security software ended it for a minute, and then it's right back. All right, that bothers me. Really does suggest some assholes trying to do like a denial of God, or I don't know what type of attack, but like overwhelm the internet. Um, anyways. I did take a look at possible city sites because you really seem to want to put down some more elf ones, and where like elven cities are just less productive, but you will need them for if you want to have an adequate number of longbowmen, I guess. So I did figure out if you look at your capital,
Yeah.
uh, you see how there's that ancient rune, right?
Yeah, to the north.
Yeah, using that as a landmark. Your capital, um, Starone, if it builds a settler next turn, it will shrink down to a city. Um, and actually grow less population a turn when it's a city metropolis, because metropolises are never constrained in growth, and the city is slightly constrained. Worth noting, although I think Illinois might actually grow faster then. Not that that's necessarily a good thing, but anyways, but if you build a settler anyways, Illinois shrink. And what's the production per turn at Storone right now?
Production 145.
145. And how much does a settler cost?
250. So I can build it
250.
in 2 turns.
Except not actually, because it'll drop down rank when you build a settler to a city. So it'll be 3 turns. Frick. Which is how many turns are left on the comet. Uh, Probably to just under 125. So yeah, actually, you might as well just do
It
the
as
hunter.
soon as I start building the settler, it loses the
Yes,
population.
but that's actually a good thing
Oh.
because you want to shrink your domain, which means you need to shrink the metropolis down to a city in order to get the 2 sites. So directly 1 tile northwest of the ruins, because I was looking at how closely you can space forts. You need 4 tiles between them, right? Or so you count off one, two, three, four, and the fifth tile. You can have a fort from like the most direct line between the two of them. So if you put one directly northwest of the ruins, I mean, if you're able to shrink the domain too, you could actually put it west of the ruins. But unfortunately, you would have had to do that much earlier when it was still a town or a city that could be shrunk to a town.
Yeah.
Um, the reason why is you want as many forest tiles in the radius of the little outpost as possible. Anyways, you shrink it, you immediately found the city there northwest of the ruins that will clear some of the forest, unfortunately, but it will still have some forest that's in its domain, some light terrain. So it'll be a little happier for a while until it expands so much um, that's only a tiny minority of its territory. In the other place, you see that little single tile forest at the far northeast corner of your domain?
That's uh where?
the far northeast corner of the domain of your capital.
Oh yeah,
See how there's a single tile forest there?
within the domain. Yeah.
Yes. When the domain shrinks, that will be eligible as well for a city or for building a city there, and that is probably the other best place. Forts and I think cities both have to be spaced the same amount. Um, Alternatively, you could build forts to hold the spot, but I think you'd have to still build one settler, so you might as well just and your builder is way off doing other things. So yeah, I would just build two settlers and sell those two spots. And the reason why those particular spots is because you need to have four tiles between cities or forts, and you want to be able to fit two forts that can later become cities. You probably don't want to immediately up in that mountain pass to the north of your capital. So if you put one right where it narrows to one tile, then you have just enough room to put one at the very most distant end of that mountain pass as well. So you can just barely fit two more
Okay.
cities in that way. Or
Yeah.
villages. I keep calling villages because they probably won't grow much past village, but that's fine. With enough production upgrades, villages can still produce stuff pretty quick with like a siege workshop or a master's guild.
Yeah.
And if I run them as a gray guard, they actually produce quite a lot of gold, especially if they're tyrants, because the tyrant racial bonus is +5 gold. And some of the buildings can produce extra gold, so might make the most sense to do tyrants. But if you do want dwarves for axemen, then especially the one at the very distant end of the valley is particularly good for dwarves because it's surrounded by mountains on almost every side.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I might say the one at the mouth of the valley could do tyrants. But the distant maybe dwarves, I don't know, or maybe tyrants as well. Tyrants just are so much more productive than almost any other race in terms of gold and mana. Um, Draconians give them a little bit of a run for their money, I think, with mana at first, but I don't think they get as many upgrades with racial governance. And orcs and frostlings get some buildings to give them extra production and gold and mana, but still not as much as the tyrants. Um, as for east of your capital, where you were going to do that gold mine,
Yeah.
I did count off, and the builder, and just I'm saying this partly now because I forget stuff, and if I say it now and then say it again, it's more likely to be remembered. But anyways, that builder can move 7 tiles over open ground or forest because it's elven in a turn. So next turn it could go in a straight line 4 tiles, like the direction it's currently facing, building a road as it goes, and then go northwest 3 tiles, and then build a fort. It'll have 0 move left, but it should be able to build a fort at that point, right on that temperate fertile plains tile that's only 2 away from one mine and directly southwest of the other. See where I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And that will be immediately as a wooden fort. Both gold mines advance raised, so you start getting the money, and you can later upgrade it to a stone fort to bring the Great Farm in its range. Stone forts, of course, have stone walls, so they're a little easier to defend, and they have high domain of radius of 3 instead of 2. Um, but that site you can eventually do a fort and can be settled with some race or another. Um,
Mm.
Frostlings like fertile plains. They don't care if the fertile plains are cold or temperate. They just don't want them to be volcanic or well, I'm not even sure
Yeah.
about volcanic. They just don't want them to be. Let's see, you've got a frosting hero here. Tropical, volcanic, blighted, or subterranean. So they don't mind if it's temperate. They don't um, mind if it's Arctic. Just like fertile plains. But then that location allows for a another outpost to be nestled in the middle of that barrens area, temperate barrens. See, like the brownish plains to the northwest of that?
Yeah. A Tigran city,
Yeah, I was
perhaps?
thinking Tigrans because of all the
Yeah.
barrens maybe nestle against the mountains to be as far
Can
away
you
from the Arctic
terraform
terrain.
barons?
Yes, but barrens are preferred terrain for Tigrans, and Tigran is the most productive, so might as well just roll with it, I thought. Um,
Yeah.
and it won't have any Arctic terrain, which Tigrans dislike until it's like a town or a city. It'll barely be a problem at all when it's a town. When it gets to be city level, it might start to be an issue, but at that point, you probably will have Arctic domain, and you can just cast
Oh
that,
yeah.
and the city will like Arctic terrain, even though it's Tigran at that point. You can actually have Arctic Tigrans. You just have to.
Hmm.
It costs, I think, 20 mana a turn, but Tigran cities produce easily 30 or 40 more gold a turn than other races, so it's worth it. Um, your um, the cost is this that they don't do anything exceptionally well other than make mana and gold. I mean, their tier one infantry are very good, but their cavalry are kind of mediocre, as you've seen. They're kind of squishy. They're not armored. Um, their tier two infantry are kind of mediocre. Their tier three irregular unit, the racial irregular, is kind of cool, but not as powerful as a lot of the other races. I'd probably prefer the Griffin Riders, the Elves get, for instance, to that. And I'll probably train the Eagle Riders, the Halflings get, instead of my own. And then tier four units are only based on your class. Of course, is the Warlord. Warlord gets phalanxes, which are really good tier three spearmen and like berserkers and stuff. So it rounds out the fact that Tigrans actually don't have great units on their own. The class units are really good for a warlord. Um, and lean even heavier into the city spam strategy. But anyways, um, so I could run these outposts for a while, and I get extra population growth as long as I'm neutral, as well as extra gold. And extra gold for being ward. So I could run these little outposts, nurture them, invest in the infrastructure, and hand some of them off to you later if you want them. Although they'll always be more productive with me. I mean, it's up to you how you want to do it. But I looked at spots so you could fit the fort for the gold mines, the fort up there that could be a Tiger city, and the barons. And both of these forts will, of course, like help to draw wandering brigands and lost souls and stuff, and keep them away from your cities, so they don't get the enemy and domain thing.
Yeah.
And they have walls, so you could stick tiny little garrisons in these, and they can hold off armies that they wouldn't be able to defeat in the open field easily. And often, like brigands are cowardly; they usually won't attack unless they're much stronger. But they will sometimes, hover around a stack that they're closely matched to and just give you the enemy and domain. But that doesn't matter for a fort that doesn't produce anything. Doesn't matter for a fort, period. And anyways, in the area between all these cities, you can fit three other forts. One at that crossroads, the Temperate Barrens crossroads near Valsuriel, the one that's west of the ancient ruins. You see that?
Um,
Where the roads meet, the westernmost road meeting north to the
between
northeast.
Belsariel and Mistdale.
But yeah, where at the crossroads from where your builder just started building out a road.
Yeah.
So you could put a fort there to hold a spot for a city. You could also put a fort between Falsariel and Sterone, somewhere in that wetlands area, um, which it would be good in a way if you got terraforming relatively soon, because a fort only occupies one tile. When you can't terraform under it, you can terraform tiles directly adjacent to it. Then if you built a city, you wouldn't be able to terraform those tiles. So you can at least remove some of these wetlands and turn them into like barrens for tigrans or fertile plains for frostlings.
Yeah.
Um, and wetlands have high move costs, and goblins like them get commerce bonuses in them. So since our enemies are humans and goblins, might be better to turn it barren. Humans like fertile plains, goblins like yeah. Anyways, and
Okay.
you could eventually fit a little city all on that road, a city at the crossroads. And if you keep building northeast, like I said, and then northwest to the side of that fort with that builder, you'll end up creating another crossroads uh, once the builder moves 2 tiles northeast where your mature shock serpent currently is. See that tile?
Yeah.
You could probably build another fort there at the crossroads. Which I mean, even from a roleplay perspective, forts at a crossroads to deter brigands kind of thing. And that's basically what it does is it helps deal with any potential brigands or such that might pop up. Wandering units gives you visibility and um I mean this area is very safe anyhow, but stuff in your domain is probably even safer and it will hold spots for cities most importantly. And then last but not least, along the coast you can fit one more fort, which should probably be a site for maybe a second frostling seed just so you get race governance a little quicker. You could do a Tigran one if you really want the resources, the gold, and cast Arctic Domain on it uh, later. But it's another city that can add to your ability to raise a fleet, and that can be a frosting city potentially. And yeah. By the way, humans they actually get gold and population growth rate from harbors. So if you're able to get a human city on the coastline, it's actually more productive potentially in the frosting one
Oh yeah.
if you take a certain racial governance. I'm not sure about that though. The frostings get a pretty nice bonus from but what is it? They're the Frost Castle. Oh, and Grand Palaces. Yeah, if they go down their economic line,
Uh,
um, their temple bonus. Yeah, frosting cities are way more productive. Their barracks. Yeah, compared to humans. So yeah, could be another frosting city. And yeah, frosting cities do give Tigrans a run for their money. Um, but they're a little more mana focused, and generally speaking, gold is kind of worth more in mana for a number of reasons, including that you can only store a limited amount of mana, and you can store up as much gold as you want, so you don't have to worry about the mana capacity with gold. You can build a war chest and then raise a huge army and run a deficit. Um, you can also rush build with gold, and you can only use spells as fast as your casting points allow. So you only use
yeah.
mana as fast. The only other way you can use mana besides casting points limit is and queuing up spells for next turn sometimes. So like if I start a spell that costs 30 at the end of my turn, it'll death the 30 immediately. But beyond spells and casting points, the only other way to use mana is terraforming and building units or buildings that cost mana, which there aren't many of those. So
Is
uh,
terraforming not a spell?
it is. It costs 12 mana per
Oh,
tile.
okay.
So it's quite
Per tile.
expensive.
Oh, okay.
As
Yeah.
a druid, you get a spell that costs, I think, like 25 and can terraform like 20 tiles to forest at once. So it's far more cost effective.
Oh,
You
nice.
eventually do get that, although just based on the map of and the races we got and the fact that I went Greyguard, Warlord, Tigran, you're probably better off with Tigran cities or Frostland cities most cases instead of elves. But yeah, if you fit in, you already have 3 elven cities, and if you fit in those 2 more I talked about, you have 5, and that's enough to give you an elite core of Lombowmen to back up your. I mean, infantry are going to end up being the bulk of most armies, infantry and cav, and
Yeah.
yeah, you can get some really nice dwarven axemen. You can throw in a few Tyrant Sun Guards for cheap tier 1 infant tier 1 spearmen or dwarven deep guards, which are very good tier 2 spearmen. They cost twice as much to maintain, but they're actually, especially with a few experience levels, uh, are
Oh yeah,
better.
I was gonna ask, when do you think I should annex Valsyria?
Um, Valsuriel? Oh yeah, that's a good question. How long do they grow?
14 turns.
Hmm.
They're currently offering for 250.
Do you have a quest with them or something? Or
Quest? No, I denied it because I didn't want to kill 6 martyrs.
yeah, probably smart. Hmm. They might give you another quest later or give you a random tribute.
Yeah,
And you don't have an army to really hold the city, so I would hold off until you can
that's
move an
true.
army there to defend the
Yeah,
city. I mean, heck,
yeah,
you don't even have
maybe a few turns.
an army in Silly Knock. That's the fort on the coast by the Clover.
Yeah, I've only got one reed serpent there.
Yeah. You'll probably want to station a larger army, especially given how close it is to the Blight there.
That's true.
And yeah, based on this minimum spacing between cities being larger than I thought, the only place on that little peninsula you can fit another city is actually where the watchtower currently is. So
Oh yeah. Can I
yeah,
settle
no,
on top of the
oh,
watchtower and clear it, or would I have to?
I think you have to destroy. Actually, you can't do that. No, it's as the crow flies, it's too close to the other city across
Oh,
the
right.
water.
Murmur.
Yes, that whole peninsula is ineligible
Oh,
um for any more
that's right.
forts. Yeah, that's fine. It's a good spot for a halfling city, fertile plains and some forests, which they eventually grow
Yeah.
to like, if I remember,
I
or
can
maybe
chop forests and turn them into fertile plains, right? Actually, can I do that right now just by building roads over them? Or what's underneath the forests if I build roads? Do you know?
what's underneath the forest if you build roads?
Like
Fertile
if I build
plains.
roads and chop them, do you know what they
You
become?
for fertile plains.
Oh, okay. So
They
after I get elves here, should I just like build a triangular road just to chop these trees?
here. I don't know where here you're talking about.
Sorry, in Sillenak, because that's going to be a
Yeah,
halfling city, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I can just get a worker down there even without terraforming
Oh, you're saying to shift it from
to
to
turn the dense vegetation into fertile plains.
yeah. They halflings like fertile plain. Sorry, halflings like dense vegetation.
They do? Oh, I thought they
Yes.
just liked, but I thought it was just fertile plains. Okay,
No.
never mind then. That
The only
doesn't
terraforming you'd
make
want to
sense
do
then.
there is to turn the barren terrain into fertile
Barrens.
plains or forest.
Yeah,
And
that makes sense.
because they like either equally well, you might as well cast the druid
Okay.
spell
Yeah.
and like turn that and everything south of it a little bit, like right up to the blight edge, because it doesn't
Yeah.
matter if you do it on the blight; they're gonna hate it either way. But
Well, they
everything
like.
up.
Wait.
If a race
So
hates a terrain type, it
yeah.
completely overrides um, their any for whatever's on that terrain.
Oh,
I
but
don't
if they
remember.
dislike it, you can still.
I
What was
think
that?
so. I'm pretty sure. I haven't played with that a ton. Let's see. What's this thing that elves dislike but don't hate? Tropical
Hmm.
subterranean. I not sure about that. I would have to check my other save. I think I seem to remember having subterranean dense vegetation, elves being less than happy, so I don't think dislike overrides light terrain. I think they cancel each other, but heated terrain completely overrides. So blight,
Yeah.
the halflings hate blight, so there's no point in forcing the blight for them. Orcs are an example of a race that only dislikes blight, so I think you can sow salt on blighted terrain, turning it barrens, and they hate it less.
Yeah.
Like if you salt the blighted terrain, that's enough for them because it, I guess kills most of the evil life there, and they don't mind it. But if it's fertile plains, wetlands, or dense vegetation, they'll be very angry about being in a blighted area or mountains.
So who has access to what terraforming spells? Are there like base terraforming spells that everybody gets?
Uh,
And then unique ones per class or
there,
race?
yes. Yes to both those
Or
questions.
or
There are
magic?
base ones like to turn the basic like open move normal
Yeah.
non-mountain types between each other, and then there's ones to quickly plant forests or to um in the case in my case as a creation adept, I can turn terrain into temperate terrain. Um,
Ah, right.
any above ground terrain can be turned temperate, so I can remove blight, which
Oh,
is one of the primary uses, but it
yeah.
makes me more good. So I can, as Greyguard, I have very, very limited
Hmm.
capability to do that unless I get a lot of evil points, which is why I was saying let me conquer that
Right.
frosting city.
So
Because
you
that
can
either,
terraform the biomes as well, not just the features.
oh yes, so you can get rid of. Sorry, you're a you're an air master, right?
Yeah, yeah, adept, adept and master, I think.
Yes, if as long as you have the
And
yeah, I think this is a master level spell. It might be adept. I would have to
and
check.
then I have 1 point in earth.
You cannot actually you can get rid of the blight much more efficiently than I can. I have to cast an expensive spell. It only gets rid of a limited area and it makes me more good. What you can do
Yeah.
is you can turn it Arctic with
Ah, right, right.
Arctic Empire. So that'll slowly turn any terrain anywhere inside your empire Arctic. That'll obviously cause problems for races that don't like Arctic terrain, like Tigrans, which is why it may be better to let me hold on to Tigran outposts while you're running that spell, so that the terrain around the Tigran villages doesn't turn Arctic.
Oh, it's across the entire empire.
Yes,
That's
everywhere.
kind of
Your
annoying.
entire domain will turn Arctic, everything above ground, but that will get rid of Blight. Unfortunately, there's no way to get rid
Hmm.
of underground Blight. Cleanse domain, which I have, does not turn it temperate because you can't have underground temperate terrain. And Arctic domain doesn't turn it Arctic because there's no such thing as underground Arctic terrain either. So the, if we find underground blight, that just sucks. And the best thing to do with underground blight is to plant goblin or orc cities in it because orcs always dislike it. And you can sow salt to make them dislike it less, I believe. And
Yeah.
goblins don't mind blight at all.
Do elves have
So
any kind of terraforming stuff
do elves? No, I mean,
as a
no,
race?
no. There's no such thing as racial terraforming. The only
Oh,
terraform special all terraforming options are either generic to all leaders or they come from leader class or specialization.
okay.
So you get
Okay.
one for your air mastery and one for being druid, like set of special terraform options, but nothing else.
I see.
And I get
Okay.
one for creation adept. But yeah, this blight, the most efficient thing would be to get a large amount of it in your domain with like forts and towns, and then to use Arctic Empire for a while and turn it all cold. It won't be blighted anymore. It'll still be a problem for my Titan troops, but that's one way to get rid of it. Another way is to just ignore it for the most part. And I have
Yeah.
orc vassals. Well, I have an orc village vassal. Eventually, there's a couple more orc cities underground, which I'll probably just conquer them at some point.
Can you just settle the blight with like a race that can tolerate it?
Well, that's what I was saying. The orcs
Yeah.
can tolerate it. They don't
Ah,
hate
okay.
it. They only dislike it. So
Yeah.
orcs are the best option for me. I don't have access to goblins, and in fact, goblins hate me right now. Because what did I do to goblins? Oh, I declared war on one of their independents. So
Are there any have
there is an
are there any
independent
goblins
city.
near me?
The only goblins we found are the enemy, and one independent city that's way south, right next to enemy,
Oh
deep in the
shoot,
blight. Now,
that's
the
a shame.
best option by far is the little orc village I have is for me to annex it soonish. Um, Usfor, for me to annex Usfor, and then churn out orc settlers, and I can settle those in the blight, and those cities will do all right. They won't be completely, especially once I can
Yeah.
sow salt to minimize. I'm pretty sure that'll help it.
Oh,
Um,
so sorry. Should I end my turn now?
oh no, you should request gold for me. That was the thing, and I need mana, so offer mana, request gold.
Oh right.
You're talking how much mana do you currently have, and what's your net?
I have 544 mana, and I'm
Eh,
making 113 a turn.
Okay, yeah, so you got quite considerable. To avoid having to do this over and over, if you just give me like 240 mana. And as for gold, I should probably give you, let's see, looks like I've already started on a couple settlers, which means I've already paid for them, which means I won't be building anything else anywhere except for Galbrand and with my builder. God, this is lagging like crazy. 100 gold for that. Um, but I was also going to maybe annex some stuff, wasn't I? After I conquered the Frostlings. I don't know when that'll be another couple turns though. Um, it's probably fine to do a 1-for-1 trade
Okay.
of 240 gold for 240 mana. I'll be a
Oh,
little low on gold, but I'll make it up, and this will just reduce this to give you a little bit of me a little stockpile of mana and you a little stockpile of gold. So
all right.
it's funny that end up being 1-for-1, but I mean the optimal number is probably like 245 for 248 or something, but it's very close to 1-for-1. It's the point, so it's easiest. All right, and then you can end your turn, and I'll accept that.
Okay.
Independence, capture your watchtower. That includes that lesser shadow stalker. That thing is a nightmare. Physical protection, blight protection, frost protection, but most of all, it's just like undead and noxious. I mean, it's actually incorporeal, not undead. It's got backstab, frost shard, and its melee strikes do a bit. And yeah, not fun. That's why I probably can't annex Fairfields yet.
No.
Um, yeah, although once I conquer Trequium, I should be able to annex Usfor, and I could do Fairfields, but what is with this lag? Yeah, I could do Fairfields, but with those that nastier stack wandering around, I should probably be wary of that for a little bit. Maybe I should have. It might be because I was doing some video editing. Clipchamp is terrible. Like ruins your RAM until you restart your computer. Probably I forgot to restart after the last time I.
Oh yeah.
God,
Shoot.
Microsoft makes the worst software, and it's filled with what's essentially spyware. They're collecting all this data on you, but it's not considered spyware because it's technically in the license agreement. Legalized spyware is what it is. Uh,
Yeah.
freaking capitalism. Okay, accept that offer. There. Now I've got 334 gold. Oh,
How
the
how
income
come it says
product. Sorry, what?
how come it says you're not getting any mana from that creation node?
What
You know,
creation
the one
node?
by your 6 troops that are gonna help me with the independent uh scoundrels. I don't know if it's just a like a bug on my end, but it says that creation node's unexplored, and you're not getting the mana from it. Like they're all grayed